Hey guys, Adam and Christy, Painchaud here with E3 Firearms Association, and what we're going to talk to you about this afternoon is off-body carry. So let's define that real quick. So on-body carry means it's actually on you. It's in a holster, it's mounted to your belt, it's on an ankle, it's in a pocket, shoulder holster, something like that, so it's on-body. Versus off-body. I think typically you think off-body carry, you think women with holster purses, or guns in their purses. But there's also, briefcase holsters for the guys. I've seen all kinds of things out there for off-body. I've seen little day planners with a gun in them. So I'll kind of get into the why with off-body carry, and some of the advantages versus disadvantages. And the reason I've got Christy here is because I know one of the methods that she uses fairly commonly for carry is an off-body carry solution. So what are you doing out there? How are you carrying off-body?
Well, currently I do use my purse as an off-body carry because it's very practical. And again, as I said before, and I've constantly preached throughout any type of training or advice that I provide, is it has to be practical in order for you to actually do it and implement it in everyday life. So when I buy purses, because I do change out my purses with the season, like most females like to do, I get something that has an isolated zipper compartment, and usually it's a smaller pistol because it's going to be a smaller handgun that I'm going to carry. So it's not going to be heavy, because if it's heavy, you're not going to carry it. So again, picking a firearm, which Adam had a different segment on, is a whole different discussion. But once you do pick your small concealed carry or off-body carry firearm, make sure you keep it isolated in a compartment on your backpack, your purse, so it's not going to get hung up on anything else, and you can get to it quickly inside of a smaller holster. So it makes it very, very practical. And when you're carrying it, you always make sure you're conscious of which arm you have it on, and if you can get to the zipper easily. And as I said, again, with me, I am a stay-at-home mom, so I am with my little boys all the time, and I do always have my firearm on me. But making sure you're conscious of your state and local laws. There are some places, if you're going to pick up your kid at school, you cannot carry your firearm if you're going in the school. So you have to think about things like that when you're choosing how you're going to carry off body.
What I'm getting at, or I think what I'm understanding from you, is you don't need a dedicated purse holster, or like a purse that's made for carrying a gun, right?
Right. No, yeah. And there are certainly plenty out there, and I'm not saying that they're not great products. I used to carry them. It's just, what your style is. And a lot of those handbags weren't my personal style, so it wasn't practical for me. I mean, there are things you can do. There are some fanny packs, which of course, if you're going to go for a hike or go for a walk, there's different options you have. And I do, if I'm out at an amusement park with my kids, I'll throw on a backpack instead of carrying my normal purse that I carry every day. But again, I do have an isolated compartment where I do keep my firearm. And it's important, if you're going to do that, to train with that. You can just be in your bedroom safely, practice with taking out your firearm. And the big thing for me is mentally preparing walk yourself through that. How are you actually going to hold your kids, gather your kids as they're running around the grocery store or in the cart, or one kid's here and one kid's there, and something happens, and how are you going to get to that? Have a plan in your head. I'm not saying everything you plan out is going to be executed, on par, but at least you have something in your toolbox to kind of go to. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. Am I going to grab my kids first? Am I going to get my gun first? I don't know. I don't know what the situation is going to be, but have something in your mind. Get your wheels spinning to kind of, how am I going to handle this? If I'm walking out to the store, when I'm putting my groceries in my car, I secure my kids first. They're in their car seats. Then I unload all my groceries, because if someone comes up from behind, it happens probably on a daily basis. Women put their purses right on the back seat as they're loading up their cars. It just happened in Concord, New Hampshire a few months ago. This guy on a bicycle would just nab purses as he's running along. Well, you know what? If someone takes my purse, just take my purse. But if you're going to threaten my kids, then situation changes. So keep my purse on my shoulder at all times. When I walk to put my cart away, I lock my car. I have a remote start, so my kids aren't in the car, sweltering hot. You keep it on, it's locked secure. Purse is still on my shoulder with me, with my firearm. Then I get in my car. So it's, but I think about those things. Again, I'm not paranoid. I just like to have a plan and be prepared.
One of the things you talked about with off-body carry, specifically with a purse, is having a pouch or a pocket. You mentioned a zipper pocket that's dedicated for the gun. And folks, or ladies, or anybody, that's really important. What you don't want to have your gun in a pocket, or something like that inside your purse or briefcase, something like that, and have other things like keys dangling in there, and chapstick, lipstick, all kinds of things, because you're risking compromising the firearm safeties, maybe making the gun go off. You don't want that, so it needs to be a dedicated pocket, right?
Right, exactly. And under stress, like if you're trying to grab something out of your purse, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I throw a lot of crap in my purse. So, if you're trying to grab something and there's like, hand sanitizer, your keys, your wallet, all in the same area, like what are you gonna do, throw your wallet at somebody? No, like you're gonna go right to where your gun is, and you're gonna, do what you have to do to neutralize the threat. So.
Yeah, and if you don't have an actual purse designed specifically with a holster in it, and you're just using a pocket, something like Christy's talking about, it is going to be important to have the gun in a holster, in a sleeve of some sort that's going to, protect that trigger guard, and any manual safeties you may have, and have it inside that pocket. And something else I know you do, you kind of start to touch on it, is I know you found yourself in situations before where the gun is in that holster inside that purse, and maybe you actually take it out of there and maybe do.
Right, like you said, and it's being situationally aware. Like if your situation, like coming out of the grocery store at night, or someplace where someone may be following you, or you just kind of get a little paranoid, or you just like something maybe off, or you just want a little extra, I need it in my waistband. Like I'll just discreetly as I can, if you can, just transition that gun from your purse, or wear inside a jacket pocket, or inside your waistband, or just someplace where you can get to it a little bit quicker, because time is on your side when something like that happens. You want to eliminate the 5-8 seconds it takes you to grab it out of your purse versus your waistband. So yeah, transitioning it is easy, but again, you want to practice that if you're going to choose to carry something like that. And
probably besides access can be a little slow with the off-body carry, but it's a great viable solution. One of the big disadvantages that's often talked about with off-body carry is the ability to leave it behind easily. You whether you're setting it down on something to get something, or you just forget it somewhere, and your gun's in there, so that could be a problem. Somebody getting a hold of it and stealing it, or maybe having access to it that shouldn't have, things like that. So that off-body carry always has to be on your mind.
Right. Oh, and with any situation, I mean, I can tell you stories. I mean, I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes. When I was an agent in the field on missions, I wore a shoulder holster. Well, when you have to go to the bathroom, sometimes you have to take, or I had a hip holster on, that time, and that's why I transitioned to shoulders, because you have to take your gun out of your holster when you're using the restroom. Well, if you put it somewhere and you walk out, luckily I was in my office and not somewhere in public, but things like that happen. But it is consciously, it doesn't matter like to a purse or on your body, but it's always being, just conscious of where it is and making sure you secured it at all times. You have
to be very aware. Off-body carry, even more aware than you would normally be. And for the guys, this isn't just for the ladies with purse holsters. Guys, I actually had a day planner, way back in the day, a little mini day planner with a holster sleeve in it, specifically made for that. It was a great option, when I maybe had to have a shirt tucked in and any other carry method just wasn't reasonable or compromised what I was doing, and that worked out pretty good. I've seen, folks with holsters, sleeves, and briefcases and things like that, or just bags, or maybe if you're a student and it maybe a college type of student, and it is justified, warranted, legal, or illegal, I should say, at your grounds, maybe in a backpack or something like that. So that's there's several examples of off-body carry. How about hikers? Outdoorsmen. Folks who just like to be outdoors. You're hiking, and maybe you got your piece in a backpack, something like that. So there's a lot of examples of off-body carry besides just the women's specific example of a purse holster, but the attributes, how you train for that, how you think about it, they're all pretty much the same. Right. You need to train. Christy talked about that. Dedicate that training time so you know how to employ it if need be, and it's safe and secure. And other things to think about. What else do you have in there? We've talked about minimum everyday carry.
Flashlight, extra mag.
The normal stuff we'd expect. So you got your gun in there, you got your flashlight, your extra mag, maybe a multi-tool or knife, something like that.
Or
things
OC
to think
spray
about.
If you can't carry a firearm.
All kinds of options out there. So that's a little bit about off-body carry. Really appreciate you listening in today. It's a great topic, off-body carry. I know a lot of folks out there are already doing it already. Maybe need to know some more information about it. So thanks for listening.
Thank you.